What's going on, YouTube? For the people of the internet. What's going on? Alright. What's today's video? Glad you asked. I have it right here. What does that say? Who do I feel I am worthy of being? What am I talking about? Well, I have a handy dandy notepad right here. I'm gonna write it down for you. Numbers. How does numbers connect with the phrase, how do I feel I am worthy of being? It's a great question. Well, we all know numbers start from what? Well, they start from 0 and they go to, you're probably going to say 10, right? Well, let me show you. That's all we have. Right there. Right there. 0 through 9. Well, but 0 isn't actually a number. Because if we had 0 of something, we don't have anything to show for it. So we just say none. Okay? Alright. Now, I'm about to get in deep shit real quick. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. So, now that we know what the numbers are, 0 through 9, of course, and I won't reiterate what 0 means, but we have 0 through 9. Now, for those people who know about numerology or who know about we're just spiritual in nature, let's just say that. There are such things as spiritual numbers and mundane numbers. No, I'm not talking about angel numbers. That's an entirely different topic and one that I am not very educated. But rather, I am now writing down the numbers that what most people would consider are mundane. And I am now writing down the other numbers that spiritual. So, here are the mundane, and here are the spiritual. The mundane cards are 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And the spiritual cards are 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Now, you have the right to ask, okay, what the fuck does that mean? What am I supposed to do with this information? Well, I heavily investigate and am involved with on a continual basis, daily basis, in fact, of a system. Now, the system is actually a science. I'm about to say astrology, and you're probably gonna say, "Oh shit, here we go." All right, time to leave. Later. I'll see you later. Hold up. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Because if you're artistic, you're really gonna like this. Even if you're not, I think it's still pretty interesting, even to the people that aren't artistic. Anyways, so you have this system. It's not based in astrology itself. It does use components of astrology, but you do not need this system, this science that I'm kind of about to rag on a bit. In this system of cards, everybody knows playing cards, right? There's 52 cards. Well, technically there's actually 53 cards. And it's actually kind of cool because 5 plus 3 equals 8. And 8 in the mundane sense of the cards, since we have numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, the number 8 in and of itself is the most powerful. Now, you could also say 10 could be that card too. Um, but just for the sake of this video, we're just leaving it at 8. And you might ask, well, why 8? Like, that's such, why is it not 9? Like, 9's a higher number. Yeah, but 9 is a spiritual number. You see, a spiritual number is a number that has a harder time manifesting itself in this reality because this is the mundane reality. This is the reality that we live in. It's the physical reality. But we also have a spiritual reality, which I'm sure many of you can vouch for and say that there are times in your life where you had experiences that you couldn't explain. It was almost like a miracle happened. Well, some would say that's you had a spiritual experience. Now, since we live in the mundane, I actually wrote down 10 here. I can't believe I did that. Excuse me. that that is what it looks like. 2, 4, 6, 8. And then you have 9. Because 10 and all the numbers, especially associated with the cards here, are for a different video. They're harder to explain. Well, they're not harder to explain. It's just more information that is not pertinent to the video. Now, so I said there's technically 53 cards, right? And 5 plus 3 equals 8. Well, the reason that 8 is the most powerful is because it is the number belonging to the most powerful planet there is that we know of, at least right now. And that's Pluto. If you know anything about Pluto, it's that it's either on or it's off. And even if you don't believe in astrology, and you go to an astrologer, and they tell you that your Pluto is in this house under this sign, I can guarantee you, if you are at least just of the slightest bit aware of things beyond you, you're going to be able to relate with what that person is saying, even if they're not quite the level that they need to be like a professional astrologer. And that's because it's Pluto. Pluto is fierce. It is a planet I would almost say to be feared if you're not aware of it. And you almost wonder why things happen in your life the way they do. And if you aren't careful, they'll keep happening. And it's because you're not dealing with what Pluto is trying to tell you. The most fulfillment in your life will come from working on what your Pluto or where your Pluto is and the places and things associated in your life to Pluto. If you don't, then you're going to keep having that thing come up. And it's going to really fuck up your life if you're not careful. If you're unaware, you can't then just wonder, well, why the hell is this happening? You know, this has happened time and time again and before. I've done things to get out of it, or I've done things to solve it at the time temporarily, but then it keeps coming back up. It's like, well, okay, like the universe is saying, yo, hey, you have this thing, you have a really bad problem, like you keep picking people that are showing you the things that you need to improve on, yet you're deciding to leave them and go somewhere else. As soon or at one point or another, you're either going to have to realize that you are the problem, or you're just going to die not having fulfilled your karma. But I would argue, when you go about solving, not solving, but working on this karma that you have related to Pluto, working through those things, you're gonna you're gonna become pretty happy, because then you're gonna realize that there's a whole different part of life that you just cut yourself off from, that could have gave you so much more, that could have provided for you. Because when you work through the problems that Pluto says to, there's a reward for that. Because you have to remember, this is the mundane world. So as you give, so shall you reap. It same both things apply. And if you wonder why I'm looking up here, it's because I have my camera video set up right there. So I apologize for that. Okay, so I am now a little bit out of breath. But that is a little bit about the power of the 8. Now, within this very ancient science, I'm calling it a science because there's so much more about it that we don't know about, that whenever I meet someone who isn't someone who's spiritual at all, and I use this system to sort of understand them better, I'm then able to say things that are very relevant to their life, and they're like, how in the fuck do you know that? I've never told anybody this, yet you're telling me it in person right here, right now. And it's like, well, I can show you. Like, this system can wake up a lot of people. And in fact, that's partly why I'm here, but also at the same time, like, who doesn't want to make a buck or two? Or, who doesn't want to make a good amount of money, teaching people about this stuff? And that's why I'm here. Because if I don't give, then you don't get. Like, if you weren't good at something, then you don't deserve the rewards of being good for it, because you didn't do the work to deserve it. Although, that is also why I'm here. That is also the point of this video. You see, everybody in this world, with the exception of people born on December 31st, which I'll talk about in a later video because it's not pertinent to this situation, is given either an odd numbered card or an even numbered card on the day that they were born. And they're also given another card and possibly another card, but then again, this really doesn't pertain to that, and I don't want to go into it because this video would be 3.5 hours long. Anyways, if you have an even card, your success on the mundane world, your success in the mundane world is going to be much easier than someone who has an odd numbered card. And the reason that is because the odd numbers are associated with spiritual, as I just showed you. But I am making this video for the people that have the odd numbered cards, because there's actually a superpower to the spiritual. And that's that when a spiritual person, or when an odd numbered person wants to have mundane success, meaning success in this physical reality, they can't just go about doing those things outwardly. They can't just go about doing those things physically, because that's not their karma. Their karma is to work on everything internally. And the lesson to be learned is that you need to focus everything on the everything that you're not really good at, so that you realize that it's what comes from here manifests out here rather than the other way around. It's not the things around you creating your reality, it's how you think, how you feel, and how you act. But all of that has to come from within you. It can't come from without, it can't come from someone else. You can't be extracting value here and bringing it inwards. Because once you do that, then you create basically this codependency. Because when this thing eventually is removed or is taken from you, guess what happens? All of that belief, all of that self esteem that you had in yourself was attached to this thing the entire time. You just didn't know it. And when you finally realize that it's not the things that I have, but it's actually how I feel about myself and the worth that I attribute to myself is will result in me getting the things that I want. It's it's coming from the attitude of I already have everything. I'm just giving everything as appreciation for already having everything. And then you realize through that that you get a hell of a lot more of what you want without going through life so grudgingly. You're not you're not going elbow and knees through, barbed wire. You're actually just fucking floating over that bitch. Like how they do in the army reserves or when they train troops or whatever. Like that's one of the things you have to do. You have to do this obstacle course. Well, instead of seeing a person going across it, you're just floating like Jesus walked on water. That's basically how it is. But the hard part is for the people who are of the spiritual nature, the odd numbered nature, is that they cannot get caught up in the situations that manifest themselves in the mundane, because those are just indications of how you feel. It's just a mirror of how you feel. You have to change it. You have to make it work for you. If you have an odd numbered card, then it's much or an even numbered card, then it's much easier to change those things because you you already have that belief within yourself of doing it. But as you'll soon realize, or maybe not, it's that when someone is at the end of their cycle, because there's some people in this world that are of such high consciousness that some of them believe that they are in their last lifetime, their last reincarnation. If you believe in that sort of thing, you don't even have to believe in that sort of thing. Nor am I even offering that as something that you have to believe in. I'm very much a person of you are the person that gets to decide. I'm not going to force anything upon you that doesn't work for you. And that applies to anything that I do and all of my content. If none of it relates to you or if none of it helps you, good. Don't listen to it. But if you want to support me and you don't even have to watch, I appreciate that too. But I also realize that people have different beliefs, different values. Even if I don't like it, like I'm not going to tell you no. But if you ask me how I feel, like I'm going to tell you how I feel. And the people who know that about me, and there's probably people that all of us have met at some point who truly don't care what other people's beliefs are. They just immediately get along with people. Those people are very spiritual in nature. Now, the reason that I am making this video is for this purpose. Every person who has an odd numbered card or has realized throughout their lives that they cannot go mundanely through the world, that they have to have a higher sense of purpose, they need to answer this question. But it also can benefit even numbered cards too. It can even benefit those who are very much successful. And I, in fact, encourage everyone to write this down. Who do I feel I am worthy of being? You will not keep nor attain the success that you want without figuring out the answer to this question and answering the following. Who do I want to be? Who do I want to become? Who is a person that in this life, in this reality, as of right now, does a relatively or a pretty dang good job of embodying those characteristics or qualities? Learn about them. And I would say most importantly is learn what hardships they had to go through to get there. Learn and truly feel and put yourselves in their shoes as to the difficulties and challenges that they had to face to get there. And you'll see that you've also probably gone through like things, but that you're not in their position because you don't feel that you are worthy of it. Because you feel that it is too much of a responsibility to you. And you feel that there's so many unknowns about being successful or being held in such a high regard that you don't think that you're going to be able to keep it for very long, or that you are even worthy of becoming someone who is well known in whatever work that you do. My question to you is, well, who are you to say that? Have you met billionaires? Have you met very, 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 very successful people? There's a good portion of them that are fucking assholes. Like, they are self-inflated, egotistical narcissists. Like, those people don't give a rat's ass who they employ. Jeff Bezos, I'm calling at you. Elon, I'm calling at you too. But in a different manner. And the list goes on. The list goes on. I'm not saying that I don't like parts of their personality, because who am I to say that you are to hate someone or to hate an entire person? I don't hate an entire person, even if it's fucking Satan himself. Why? Because if circumstances got so bad as that for someone to want to go that route, then okay, that's will, that's the freedom. And see, that's the beautiful thing with the cards. There are two different sides of each card. There's a positive and there's a negative manifestation. The reason that this whole entire system exists is to create awareness. It's to open your awareness as to the energies or the things that are manifesting around you, so that you can go about taking action on those things and doing the behaviors and the habits that you need in order to become the person that you want to be. And it's becoming aware of the gifts and the things that you need to work on, so that when those things come up, and in addition, those same things will keep coming up because this is life. Like you don't just deal with one thing, one huge problem, and then it never comes back. You know, there's probably some shape or some form that it takes in a different way that comes up later on in your life, and you have to deal with it that way. And if you having the awareness of having dealt with a similar issue in the past and knowing that this same issue is coming up now, or that you are facing this current issue right now, you can then go about it solving it in a similar way. And of course, you'll inevitably come into some different conditions that won't match the same way it manifested the last time, and you'll have to adapt. But that's also the major theme of these cards. It's adapting. You know, I came up with a phrase a while ago. Well, I say me as in I came up with this phrase. Someone could have much older than me come up with this phrase, but I say, if I'm not adapting, it's my fault. And in doing that, I am the one that takes responsibility for whatever situation that I am in. Like, for example, I play video games. I play Call of Duty. If I am having a bad game and I am insistent upon using this certain weapon or whatever to become successful with it, to be at the top of the leaderboard, to win the game, but it seems like all the odds are against me and the playstyle that I'm playing is not adaptive to with the gun or weapon that I am using, I'm going to lose. So then I cannot become upset with myself for losing that game when I am the person that had control the entire time of the outfit and of the playstyle that I wanted to play. Like, you can't use a sniper. You can't use a sniper like you're using a submachine gun. A sniper is far back. It's looking down. It's observing. It's making plays. It's manipulating the enemies. Whereas someone with a very CQB like type run and gun style is going to have to be continually aware of what's going on around you. You know, who's dying? Oh, my teammate died over there. There's probably an enemy flanking behind us. I gotta look behind me. Like, there he is. Like, being a sniper, you also do that. But whereas an SMG, you're in the shit. You are literally in the shit. It's like me going back to the training scenario where you're on your hands and knees and elbows trying to crawl through the barbed wire. Whereas compared to the spiritual person, it's just walking over it. If you're aware of how to adapt to the energies around you, you're able to become much, much more successful at what you're doing with much less effort. And for a person who is of a spiritual nature, you can't go hands, feet, and shoulders, neck, and shit, while also saying to yourself, "Oh, well, if I just work harder, if I just think better." No, no, that doesn't fucking work. You gotta work on this part right here. You gotta sit your ass down, and you have to be honest with yourself. Going to therapy, that is something. And in fact, that brings me to my next point. Having someone in your life that wants you to do good and is not assuming or placing their intentions on top of your own, or you having given your intentions, your goals, or whatever, and them giving their advice. A person who cares about you and doesn't have a bias of someone like a parent or a sibling or a friend only having, a couple a couple couple degrees of how they view you as a person, whereas compared to someone like a therapist who deeply knows who you are, as well as also having the knowledge of working with people like you or people who are in much worse situations and helping them get out of those situations. This person is wiping the slate clean and is prioritizing you and your needs over their own biases and what they would like you to be. And that is super important. Having just one person in your life who doesn't throw their own perceptions of you onto you while you're asking for help or while you're asking for advice or guidance can change your life. It's not having experienced it, it's really hard for someone to understand where I'm coming from. But that if you are a person who doesn't have an an even numbered card, and even if you do have an even numbered card, having someone like that in your life can benefit anyone. But the only problem or issue with that is we're human at the end of the day. We all want something different. We all want people to communicate to us in a certain way, in a certain manner, in a certain tone. But you will never get to where you want to be if you don't accept that you're going to have to go through some sort of shit. Whether as compared to the even numbered person going through the barbed wire one more time. The amount of time that it takes both of you to cross or to go over those things is going to take the same amount of time. But what you see is this person having manifested all of the goals and all of the aspirations and all of the dreams that you have. And they could be your same exact age. And you're like, I haven't gotten fuck all anywhere. Well, no, that's not the truth. You've actually gone a hell of a lot a hell of a lot farther. But all of those things that you went through, all that work that you went through, is unseen because your work is much harder. And there's going to be some point in life where this person is going to have to go through what you went through. And they are going to have a hell of a lot harder of time than you. And neither in any of this communication or this video am I saying that life is a competition or it's a comparison contest. No, it's not. But I'm just telling you how it is because of the experiences and the people that I've talked to. People who have even numbered cards when they face very truly almost life threatening circumstances are deathly afraid. And some of them even have died during very hard mental, uh, almost unseen like uh, events or circumstances. I'm not saying that lightly. As a person who is on the spiritual path, your mind, body, spirit, and soul has to be built like a fucking tank. You have to take all of the shit. All of it. But let me tell you, when you work on those, and let me say this, you're never truly going to overcome those things. You're just going to get incredibly tough and incredibly good at adapting to the circumstances you're given. And that's going to give you a hell of an advantage over your lifetime. the quicker you can accept that your life will not change until you do something. This work does not have to be tangible. This is not physical. This is not monetary. This is not investing. This is not getting a job or whatever. Although, if you have to do those things in order to live, like, I'm not saying to quit those things because I don't know the situation that you're in. And like I said, since I don't know you, I don't know what your goals are, so on and so forth. I'm not going to tell you to do those things. Because I'm autistic. I've listened to hundreds of podcasts. I've taken their advice. I've done all the shit. And it's made me sick. It literally made me sick. Like, I have terrible, severe health conditions. I do. Could I go out and work and have a job? Yeah, I could. But that would be insanely hard for me to do. And to anybody out there who talks bad about me or doesn't want to listen to what I have to say, that's completely fine. I'm not saying that what I have to say is the truth and only the truth. And if you don't do what I have to say, well, then you're a shitty person. No. Like, okay. Like, if you want to keep going about your life like that, okay. Fine. Who am I to say that? But at the same time, everyone I know, and even all the people that I don't know, can benefit from this video. If you're an even numbered card, if you're an odd numbered card, you can both benefit from this video. So anyways, you're probably wondering, okay, well, what the hell doesn't even, what the hell am I? Am I an even or an odd numbered card? Well, here, let me just write down the equation really quick. You're gonna take your birthday or your birth month number, and then you're gonna add that to the day that you were born in that month. Actually, take that back. You're gonna multiply your birth month, the numerical value of your birth month, by 2, and then you're gonna add that to the day that you were born, and then there's one more step. So after that step, you're then going to want to subtract that from the number 55. Now, I would go into explaining the whole 55 premise and whatnot, but for the sake of this video, and for you finding out whether or not you're an even or odd numbered card, I can explain that later. But anyways, that's how you find it. You take your birth month, you multiply that by 2. And then you add the value, the numerical value of the day that you were born in that month, and then you're going to subtract 55 from it. And you're going to get a number ranging between 1 and 52. If you were born on December 31st, unfortunately, this system does not work for you. You will have to use astrology in order to find out more information. But for now, 99.99999% of people are going to be able to find out what their number is. Now, there's also another step after that. So, in the 52 cards, in the deck of 52 cards, I should say, there's 4 suits: hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. Every single one of these cards has a value. And it's in that order that I just said: hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. So the numbers 1 through 13 are hearts. The numbers, oh shit, here we go. 14 through 26 are clubs. Or, yeah, 14 through 26 is clubs. From 27 to 39 is diamonds. And then from 40 to 52 is spades. And if you have a card that is a jack, a queen, or a king, then so the jack will be a 2, the queen will be a 3, and the king will be a 4. And I'll just leave it at that for now because there's a lot that can go into that. Anyways, I hope you guys have taken something away from that, something of value. And there's an infinite amount of knowledge about this science that I'm teaching and learning myself, that I will get better at, and that I will be able to teach more and more. But if you're not, interested in learning more about this stuff, I will be doing readings for people very soon. I have to figure out how I'm going to set payments and so on and so forth, as well as, intake. But without further ado, that is the end of this video. I appreciate you all, any of you who are staying until the end of this video. Maybe check out my other videos. There's some value in each of my videos. Whether or not they pertain to you or you can get value from them is another story. But who knows? If you want to support me, do that. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Most importantly, hit the subscribe button because that helps a lot. And if you have ad block on, turn that shit off for me, please. Other than that, I do go live on TikTok. I do go live on YouTube. I do go live on Twitch. Like I put in the intro, which I will put. Hold on. I will put right there. Follow me on all platforms at Collyne07. And of course, I hope you brought your A game today because you'd have surely needed it. Anyways, that is the end of this video. And that is it. Take care. God bless. And most importantly, I hope you make progress on your goals today.